learn from your experience because I can see people from the various part of the world, they are here, they have come with their experience, their knowledge and information. And for me as a food professional, it's a good opportunity. We are listening to you since yesterday. My short my short introduction is that I am from UK. I have worked in various countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Pakistan, Iran, and Saudi Arabia also. For various companies for that, Friesman, Khaledi, Nestle, Varsity. So the presentation which I'm going to share with you that has been prepared based on my experience which I earn or which I learned by working with the various people from the various culture, practical aspect of cultivating food safety culture, supply chain. This presentation, in the first part, we will just go through various terminology so that we can have a common understanding that what we are talking about as far as terminology is concerned. And then we will be talking about how to develop food safety culture. I will be sharing two examples with you, which one is from Saudi Arabia, one is from Iran, that how we work on implementing the food safety culture and what were the results in the last session. Question answer. Before we go to the actual presentation, just look at the data from WHO that due to contaminated food, more than 200 diseases ranging from diarrhea to cancer are happening in the world. This is data of December 2015, and according to estimate, about 600 million people, almost 1 in 10 people in the world, will fall ill after eating contaminated food, and 420,000 people die every year, resulting in the loss of 33 million years life. And children under 5 years of age carry 40% of the foodborne disease burden, with 125,000 deaths every year. And if we talk about the diseases, it ranges from diarrhea disease to the most common areas for the consumption of contaminated food, causing about 550 million people who are becoming ill, and about 230,000 people die with diarrheal disease. So that gives some magnitude and idea that how much this food safety is causing problem. And of course, this is not a full data. Definitely, some data is missing, and this is the minimum problem which we can expect that is happening around the world. So, if we look at the food supply chain, we start from the farm input, but we talk about the agricultural practices, then farm output, and then finally when it goes to the processing side, production side, and then distribution and consumption. And we can see that in each component there are some internal control points as far as the food safety is concerned, and there are some common points which are important both for the step 1 to 2 and then similarly from 2 to 3 and 3 to 4. So there are some points which are common for between intra-activity, intra-departmental activities, intra-sectional activities. And in this way, if you see in the whole food supply chain, everywhere food safety is important. So when we talk about the food safety culture, it doesn't mean that it has to focus only on the processing side. And fortunately or unfortunately, at this moment, the most focus is given to the processing side, but the agriculture side is missing. Yesterday, Dr. Gopal, he mentioned about the agricultural practices, and he gave a very good data that how we have to look at the farming side. So whenever we talk about the food safety culture, it does not refer to if manufacturing only. It starts from the farm as well. And then we have to see how does everyone works in the same direction and to the same food safety and integrity goals are important point of attention. So this is something about food supply chain. I can see that since yesterday we are talking about food wastage, food security, but equally important is the subject is the food safety. The available data says that in 2050, the world will cross over about 9 billion people, and there will be a problem of food security. But at the same time, if you look at food safety as well, this is also going side by side. I mean, if we just compare what is food security and what is food safety, food security talks about the adequacy of food to the society, equitable distribution. I'm saying equitable distribution, not equal distribution. Confirmed supply, fair access of every person to the people, to the food, and a secure supply of food. Let's talk about the food security. When we talk about the food safety, we talk about the safe sources of our tools, freedom from avoidable hazards, for example, chemical, physical, microbiological allergen. Yesterday there were a lot of presentation about the allergen management, appropriate storage, risk reduction, training and certification, testing of the food, etc., and the inspection and testing by the enforcement agencies. And the point here is that both food security and both food safety, these are important. We can have a food, we can have a lot of food, of course there is a problem, but at the same time, if the food is not safe in use, then it's useless. So the focus might be that we have to take care for the both food safety and food security. As far as the food safety management is concerned, of course, a lot of technologies are being introduced. Some of the presenters, we talked about the blockchain technology for traceability, it's a new technology, DNA-based techniques for fast detection of pathogens, ATP-based testing for hygiene is very important technique for testing the level of cleaning in the processing equipment, metagenomics for the study of bacterial community, WGS, this is also a new technique for investigation of the foodborne incidents, GIS, Geographical Information System, that talked about how to collect the data on how we can infer our results as far as the food safety management is concerned. And I will not say anything about food security because since yesterday a lot of presentation have been shared here, and of course a lot of work is being done on the food security as well. Now, when we talk about a system, when we talk about the organization, mainly there are four important inputs which we talk about: generally, man, method, machine, and material. So these are the four inputs which are normally employed or used generally in the organization, whether it's a manufacturing organization, whether it's a farm supply, whether we talk about the service industry, but these are the main resources which we refer to: man, method, machine, and material, and generally it is abbreviated as 4M. And among these four, of course, man, person, and his attitude is very important. So, food safety, because we are talking about the food safety culture, this definition I have picked from the New Zealand Australian Dairy Board. They have defined it in a very simple way that food safety culture in a business is how everyone, owner, manager, and employee, and I will add the consumer also, because consumer also to a certain extent, he or she is also responsible as far as the food safety is concerned, think and act in their daily job to make sure that the food they make or serve is safe for use. So this is the definition. Although there are a lot of definitions, but to me it seemed to be quite simple. So I picked this definition for common understanding. Now we are talking about culture. When we say culture, we talk about the people. And when we like to start work on developing a food safety culture, of course we need to study the situation with the people, and there are four accepted or the four key areas where we need to focus. Like, what is the perception of the people about the food safety? What is their attitude toward the food safety? I mean, if they are taught for this one, how they are behaving, how they are showing their attitude as far as food safety is concerned, how they are behaving in a certain situation when there is a situation of food safety concern. And the fourth one is their willingness to achieve and sustain the food safety culture. So in the next presentation, the slides which I will share with you, or the example which I have added in this presentation, these are the four elements which we took into account when we were working on the food safety culture. If we talk about the current practices, how the food safety is being addressed, I mean, I don't say that this is not good, but it's good enough. Yeah. Training a widely used tool, food safety management, inspection and testing are the additional tools which are being applied. And yesterday, my friend from Dubai, he mentioned about a lot about the training. Whenever a new employee or new person comes to the organization, there are standard procedure or there are some standard orientation system where the employee goes through the food safety and the quality procedure. And then in certain organizations, certain external trainers are hired, which they come with PowerPoint presentation, having knowledge and good knowledge and information as far as the food safety is concerned. And there is a new trend that online training, which seems to be quite cost effective, although there are some issues with this one, that is also applied as far as training the people on the food safety is concerned. But if we see at current practices, what is missing element, the training is not serving the purpose, especially as far as the manpower on the first floor is concerned, because there is a clear gap which we have seen on the floor as far as the manufacturing side is concerned, and even in the agriculture area, which is even more ignored area, that there is a weak and insufficient focus on the manpower who is working at that level, and the lack of focus of people as far as their competence is concerned, as far as their ability is concerned, and training effective analysis. These are the key fundamental weaknesses based on the current practices which are being applied. Whenever we go to any organization, generally it is claimed that we give equal opportunity to everybody as far as the learning is concerned. But is it enough? Let us see another picture. If you see at this picture, all the three persons have the equal opportunity, but you can see from the picture itself, what about the short man? Does he or she has access to that area, but other people they are looking? But if you see the other side, where we say equity, this is one of the solutions we have to see. Whenever we arrange a training for the people, 20, 30 people sitting in that session, they go for a training, and after training they disperse. But does everybody understand what was the purpose of the training, what was the objective for the training? The study says that if you go by person to person, each person will have his or her own conception. So based on the personal attitude, based on the personal competency, this is very important that we have, as far as the opportunity is concerned, we have to go for equity based, not on that equality based. We are talking about training. When we say training, the training normally say how to do a work, how to do a run a machine, how to do a specific job, how to collect a sample, how to wash your hand. That's training. But when we say education answers the question like why? Why I need to wash my hand? Why food safety is important for me? Why I need to follow the regulatory standards? Education influences the attitude of the people toward the food safety. And if we say training without education cannot change the attitude. If you just give the training, it is not guaranteed. It is not sure that the attitude of the people will change. And this is the reason we have seen from the data after so many training, after so many certifications we have on place, we can see a lot of problems are happening. And at the same time, if we do education but there is no proper training for the job, that the purpose will not be served. So one point I want to make here, training and education. Training and education. That's the way we have to move forward as far as developing the attitude of the people is concerned. Now, this first portion is finished where I mentioned about some common terminology. Developing food safety culture. Whenever we talk about culture, you can see from here that the slide is not full from here. Whenever we talk about the culture, first we need to define or we need to make a basement, a strong foundation. And when we say foundation means the management is the job of management to show commitment that the food safety is a value, not a priority. That's the first difference the management has to make. Food safety is not a priority, it's a value. Priority can change. For example, you have pressure of production. There is more demand from the sales. Any reason. There is a Diwali, there is a Hajj, there is a budget, there is more pressure due to more demand. It happens in the manufacturing industry that the priority change and they go for the volume. But if we say that no, this is our value, value should not change. So the first job of the top management is that they have to ensure they have to give a strong commitment to the as a baseline value, and the food safety is our value. It's not commitment. And if we see majority of the organization, they have their value, they have their vision, but as far as the clarity of the people is concerned, the workforce is concerned, I think more than 50-60% even they don't know what is the vision of their organization, what are the values. If you just interview the people, very short or very small quantity people will be able to tell you that value of the organization. So that basement has to be made before we start working on the food safety culture. Because if these things are not clear, it's like a foundation. When you make a building, you go with the dig, you dig it further and further, you make a solid foundation, and then you raise the rest of the building. So that's the way. First point is that the management and the leadership, they have to ensure that people have taken that clear message that the food safety can help us. Food safety is a value. Now, the guiding principle is that I already mentioned that the top-driven is a top-driven commitment. Mostly, if we look around, we talk about the food safety management. Food safety management talks about the process, how to run a process, how to take a sample, how the machine should be run, what should be the HACCP procedure, who should be the leader of that one. But as far as the leadership is concerned, among the people on the floor, that's the missing area. So the first guiding principle in this case is that top management, they have to focus on the both area, process and the attitude of the people. It's very important. The next one is clear management visibility and the leadership. There should be very clear visibility as far as the management herself should be very clear that what is their vision as far as the food safety is concerned. And that in this case, they have to take into consideration the middle management. Whatever the middle management think, they have to take into consideration the middle management, that they should also be very clear what is the way, how the management is thinking about the food safety, and what they say they have to do this one, because middle management is the one who creates a link between the top management and the those on the floor. So in that case, it's very clear that the management should use the middle management as a link between the top management and the on the floor. The third one is build confidence in all employees. Walk and talk, very important. It's good to have a lot of slogans on the wall. It's good to have a lot of messages. But when it commonly observed that when we talk about the people, especially on the floor, they feel that they have some importance in the organization. So it's very important that go on the floor as a senior manager and talk to the people as far as the vision of the organization is concerned. It doesn't mean that the middle management is bypassed in this case, but to a certain extent, management, they have to go on the floor and they have to, what they say, they have to show by action. For example, this is a general rule that anybody who is entering in a food processing area, he or she, he has to wash his hand. So what happens that in certain cases it is observed that the middle manager, even sometimes the top management, they don't use the overcoat, they don't go for with a full hairnet or whatever it is. We can clearly see lapses in that case. And if somebody is not doing it, nobody asks him, sir, you have to do this one. But if somebody on the shop floor, if he or she misses this activity, important activity, sometimes it happens that it can be called by the HR department. So this is a mistake for me. So in this case, whatever they say, they have to create a confidence by their action that what they claim, they are committed with that. Accountability at all levels. So very clear from the word itself that everybody should be accountable for his or her action as far as the food safety is concerned. And this accountability should match with the job responsibility, and that job responsibility should be translated in this way that every person For example, if a operator is running a machine, he or she should know that what are the important parts of his job which are directly associated with food, as far as the food safety is concerned. And the other thing is that there should be check and balance, and this accountability should not be taken in a wrong way. It should be taken in this way. We need to build a confidence among the people that if somebody makes a mistake, he or she is not going to lose the job, but that opportunity should be used as a learning opportunity for the people. And at the same time, it's very important, and that we are going to say now, people who are working on the floor, they should have understanding that this accountability is not to punish them. They should have confidence, every person, that whatever action he or she is taking, that is very important to achieve the food safety. That type of confidence we need to develop among the people. Knowledge and information share, it's very important that whatever the knowledge we have as far as the company aspects are concerned in terms of food safety management system, this important information should be communicated to the people regularly, not only to the newspaper, not only to the poster, but again, because I said in the point number 3 that there should be some walk and talk. So that communication is linked with the point number 3, that when it is directly, information is directly given to the people, they feel some confidence, and then that gives an opportunity also to the people also, that how they think about the food safety. For example, when I was in Iran, we made some changes in the quality and food safety policy. I was pasting on the wall, and one gentleman, he was just a helper. He asked me in the Persian language, and somebody translated to me. He asked me, can you ask Mr. Raza, what change did you make in the quality and food safety policy? And I was very happy. I got to the top management, and I was looking for this opportunity that somebody from the floor is going to ask me, can you tell me, Mr. Raza, what did you change in the food safety? I said, how do you know that I have changed something? He said, because we are changing it. So that type of attitude we need to bring among the people. Otherwise, what happens? People, they don't ask with the fear that if I ask question, maybe I will be punished for this one. Or my experience will say, oh, leave it this one. So that information should be shared with the people. And the last one is the best practices. When we say best practices, it's a very subjective term. We talk about the hygiene management, we talk about the food safety management, we talk about the proper safety of the people. This is one aspect. And another aspect is the developing the attitude of the people. To take every individual case by case, and when I will go to my next slide, you will see how we did it. That's the way we say we have to adopt the best practices from the operational point of view and from the attitude point of view. And again, I say, we need to create a food safety culture, not a food safety program. Because HACCP is a well-developed program. A lot of organizations, they have HACCP program in place, they have certification. But as far as the results are concerned, the results, it is quite clear from the data that still we have issues like he mentioned about the problem. Now, next one is the operational steps in developing food safety culture. System-based approach. System-based approach means one thing is very clear to talk about the asset. But the system-based approach means, as I said earlier, in the system we need to have a scientific approach to address the attitude of the people. That's the food safety system based on the attitude. Creating food safety performance expectation. It's a very important point. Every person who is doing a job, what is expected from him or her, it should be made very clear. Because it happens, when something happens, then we say, you have done this wrong. So the main point is that whenever somebody is doing a job, whenever somebody is accepting a job, in that orientation process, that person should be made very clear, this is your job and this is the way it is going to affect the food safety. So that it should be clear to the person that what is being expected for him. We should not focus only on the efficiencies, and the same way we should be focusing on the food safety as a value as well. Education and training to influence the behavior. Rather than having a standard PowerPoint presentation, it is good to readjust the training program which we have in place and based on the level of the people as far as their understanding is concerned, as far as their attitude is concerned, because attitude toward the food safety, it changes from region to region, organization to organization, culture to culture. So that's very important that whenever we are developing training and education program, again I say training and education program, we have to put in the factor how people think about the food safety, what are their weaknesses, as I talked about the equity. So when we are developing these type of programs, we need to keep in mind that all the people, they don't have the same level of competence, all the people, they don't have the same level of intelligence. So these factors we have to keep in mind. Communication, food safety, effective. Although we can have a very big slide, very big messages, but it is observed and it is seen that the various slogans are used, photos are used. In the next slide, I will show you how the photos work as far as the communication is concerned. That message should be clear as far as the slogan or whatever it is concerned. That should be clear to the people so that they can understand what message is being given to them. Goals and measurement. It's very clear from that word itself. There should be a specific goal, very clear, achievable, risk-based goal. We should have in mind and based on job to job, person to person. It should be defined very clearly, and there should be some measurement system also. And whatever the results are being achieved, that should be shared with the people so that, and with direct session with the people, the results should be discussed, and people should be given opportunity to ask some questions so that they feel some confidence and develop some sort of culture among the people. And using consequence, so we should use bad and good examples. For example, if we have achieved something, we should discuss with the people, and if there is something wrong, we should discuss with the people so that it shouldn't happen in the future. And then acknowledge and reward. This is very important that whenever we achieve something, it is important to acknowledge publicly and reward them. As I mentioned to you that, for example, if you see, your hands can be dangerous. Good message, but if you talk about the people, everybody will perceive in his or her own way. It's very important that it should be clear to them, or the future of food safety is purely in your hand. Yes, it's a good message, yeah. And does everybody understand what are you talking about? Another way can be, you can make this way, you can give a clear message to the people. So it depends upon the process, it depends upon the environment, that what type of slogan and what type of way of communication you should use. It has to be very specific. This is one example which recently I did in 2016. The Serranian Dairy Company process about 2 million people make a day. There are 3,400 people, ISO certified, passive, various quality issues due to criminal errors. What we did then, we drafted an extensive training and education program, got commitment from the top, and we did it, and then we celebrated at the end. And how we did it, we picked a very, very strong leader in this case who was well known about as far as the process is concerned. This is that gentleman. He trained about 12 people, and out of 12 people, he picked 8 people as master trainers for the organization because the organization was quite big, 3,400 people. And those 8 people trained about the whole factory, and at the end, everybody, I mean 3,400 people, everybody was trained an exam for food safety and quality policy. So this is one way we did this one, and of course we did at all steps raw milk in case it was raw milk, and then the manufacturing and the sales. So whatever you have seen in the previous slide, it was done in the all areas from the food supply chain. This is just an overview that okay, we picked 3 projects in the beginning: food safety and quality, hazard management, 5S program, and that's the way we did it. And it was communicated to everybody so that everybody must understand what we were supposed to achieve and where we stand. And this is some photographs we did for as far as the extensive training program. You see, food safety program, quality policy, has 5S program. So that's the way actually we did this one, and this is another example. We repeated the same methodology in this organization, and that was a target was contamination free year because they were processing again UAT milk, and the target was that we should be able to deliver product according to the food safety standards. And this is just a summary that how we can change the culture. You should go for training and education to create leadership, motivation, and skills among the people, and that the people they will start working on the floor to achieve the vision of the top management. And then at the end, when they achieve it, they celebrate it, and it should be rewarded to the full all people. And this is very important, and this is also a missing element. When something is achieved, it should be celebrated publicly, irrespective of the level. And everybody should be rewarded according to the contribution. That's very important to develop a culture. And if I conclude it, food safety culture is a must in the entire food supply chain. It is difficult to bring the change in the attitude, and it cannot happen overnight. However, it is not impossible. The top management and the leadership has to hold the flag, the true determination, dedication, and devotion. You see at the right side of the picture, eventually I put this one that to lead something is not easy, but it is not impossible also. The management, they have to take this step, and the lead who is leading this project, he has to do actively as far as the education is concerned. So that's all for my presentation.